A spy case collapses, leaving questions about China's threat unanswered. In a shocking turn of events, the high-profile case against two men accused of spying for China has fallen apart, sparking a heated debate over national security and government transparency. But here's where it gets controversial. Did a key advisor withhold critical evidence, or is there a deeper issue at play? Let's dive into the details. 2 hours ago, political reporters Joshua Nevitt and Harry Farley broke the story that the Education Secretary has vehemently denied any involvement of Jonathan Powell, the Prime Minister's National Security Advisor, in the collapse of the case against Christopher Cash and Christopher Berry. Both men, who have consistently denied the allegations, saw their charges drop last month, leaving ministers and MPs scrambling for answers. When questioned about Powell's role, Bridget Phillipson assured the BBC, "I can confidently say he was not involved in discussions about the substance or evidence of the case." Phillipson expressed deep disappointment over the case's failure and emphasized that the Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, is best positioned to explain why the prosecution couldn't proceed. Downing Street had previously refuted claims of ministerial interference in the case's collapse. However, in a rare move, Stephen Parkinson, the Director of Public Prosecutions and head of the CPS, revealed this week that the trial fell apart because the government failed to provide evidence explicitly labeling China as a national security threat. And this is the part most people miss. The Conservatives have now submitted an urgent question in Parliament, demanding ministers explain their actions on Monday. The opposition has pointed fingers at Powell, who has advocated for closer ties with Beijing, accusing him of withholding crucial evidence from the CPS. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp told the BBC ministers must urgently clarify why they chose not to disclose extensive information proving China's threat to national security between 2021 and 2023. He added, "If Jonathan Powell was behind this decision, he should resign." The Prime Minister defended the government's stance, stating that they could only rely on the previous Conservative administration's position, which described China as an epoch-defining challenge. Speaking to reporters in India, the Prime Minister emphasized, prosecutions must be based on the circumstances at the time of the alleged offense, so the focus should be on the policies of the Tory government then. Several former Conservative ministers and advisers have countered this narrative, claiming there was no official designation of China as a threat. They assert that a document exists containing hundreds of examples of Chinese activities endangering the UK during the alleged offense period, which could have served as evidence. One notable incident cited by sources is the suspected Chinese hack on the Ministry of Defense. No rational jury would examine that evidence and conclude China wasn't a threat, a source from the previous government stated. Former Conservative ministers also highlighted public statements such as those by Ken McCallum, the former head of MI5, who in 2023 described a sustained campaign of Chinese espionage on a pretty epic scale. The Liberal Democrats have criticized the government's China policy, warning it puts our national security at risk. They urged the government to reject the planning application for a new Chinese embassy in London, with Liberal Democrat Foreign Affairs spokesman Callum Miller stating, approving a super embassy in the heart of London above critical data connections would enable Chinese espionage on an industrial scale. Cash, a former parliamentary researcher, and Berry were charged under the Official Secrets Act in April 2024, during the Conservative government's tenure. They were accused of gathering and providing information detrimental to the state's safety and interests between December 2021 and February 2023. Under the Act, prosecution for spying is only possible if the information shared benefits an enemy. Last month, the Director of Public Prosecutions announced the case could no longer proceed to trial, as the evidence no longer met the required standard. But here's the question that lingers. Was this a failure of evidence, a political decision, or something else entirely? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This is a debate that demands your voice.